On this episode of Hudson Valley Hustle, I'm joined by Chris Fahrbach, owner of Mixture. Chances are, if you've seen a shirt with a company name or logo on it, his company probably printed it. This is a jam-packed episode full of advice and tidbits that I think anybody should apply to their business. Hope you enjoy. So do you skate now?
Yeah.
So you run a skateboard podcast recently, but you skate like you...
Yeah, I still skate. I have some good skateboard clientele.
Do you?
Brands, and like I do a huge skate park in Tampa. Skate park of Tampa is probably the largest, most well-known independent skate park there is, and
Okay.
I go down there once a year. They have a pro contest, get to hang out with the pros, treat like royalty, and it's just some OG guys from this area that run the place down there.
Okay.
And like I used to run the Newburgh skate park back in the 90s. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but
No, but that's...
it was like a big skateboard park that did night raves, and it was actually on 2020 back in the day. Not for a good thing, but
No such thing as bad publicity.
yeah, when raves were emerging and people were generally public was like figuring out what they really were. I remember my dad's like, "I let you work at this place," like Jesus.
That's amazing.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
I've been embedded in the skateboard industry for a while, So I worked for Vans for a little bit, but that's like when skateboard companies or snowboard or stuff want merch like that, I get super excited because that's like,
Yeah.
I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You ever meet like the big guys? Like I'm not a skater, but like you ever meet guys like Tony Hawk?
yeah,
or
I've done
anybody
keg
like-
stands with Tony.
Really?
In the early 90s.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, if it was a pro skater in the early 90s, believe it or not, he's probably been to Newburgh because we used to do pro contests there. So I've most likely met them, either skated with them, hung out, or done something I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah. Amazing. How did you get then into like the screen printing merchandise? How'd you get into that business then?
Actually, I learned it at NFA. I was a student.
Really?
Yep, a student at NFA. There's a department called Graphic Arts. Mr. Mills was the teacher at the time. They got rid of the department. Why, I don't know. But and the cool thing is they were doing printing for the school district.
Okay.
So like we had state-of-the-art equipment. From what I was told, BOCES, which specializes in that, was like 10 years behind us. And then, you'd learn offset printing, graphic design, and then one of the sections in the school year was screen printing. And I just, who doesn't want to make a shirt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With their
Yeah.
own design. And
Yep.
and I fell in love with it. And it's kind of like I was in college. I went to SUNY New Paltz, and senior year, I was just like, oh, man. I don't want to work for the man. I was already doing that. I was working for Vans, but, the retail side. And it's just like, you're just a number.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. And so I had a little bit of money saved up. I bought my first I still own it to this day. I call it my first Easy Bake screen printing press and dryer. I gutted my kitchen in the apartment, and I had my little machine and my little dryer, and I started pressing shirts there, printing them, and going around to businesses, people I knew or friends, like, oh, this girl I know, her dad owns this company, so I'd be like, hey, give me a shot, you know what I mean? And then
21 years later.
21 years
Still here.
later, still doing it. Yeah. So then, just escalating, and then college, graduated, and opened up a little spot, right over across from Tarsio's in the back of there's like a little strip mall right across the street, and they have like a backside of the building and no one even knows exists, but it was like 800 square feet. Which was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And now it's like my office is 800 square feet.
That's awesome.
But, so nervous. It started there and just started cruise control, man,
So from your apartment to where you are now.
Yeah, we're in.
How big is the company now?
We are in almost 6,000 square now between the two companies. We have the Mixture Inc., which handles all the merch, and then we have a Mixture Sign division, but we share the same building.
Yeah.
But we're constantly blowing walls out in that building. Like this is probably our third or fourth time knocking down a wall in that building to get more space. We just did it this over this past fall. Yeah,
Okay.
this fall we just blew some wallage out, and you know what I mean.
Sick.
Our
Yeah,
landlord,
that's
you
awesome.
know, I love our landlord. He's the greatest, man. We've almost been with him for 21 years. We've been with him for 18
Yeah.
out of the 21 years. It's just a great guy.
So you grew pretty quick then, from when you started then to getting a bigger space.
Yeah, so 2 years in the 800 square foot, then another 2 years we moved on Genie, another warehouse behind. For some reason, we were stuck with these buildings that were always in the back.
You have a type.
But the rent's good, you know?
Yeah.
And then my landlord actually moved me across the street. Somebody in that warehouse wanted more space. They wanted our space.
Gotcha.
So my landlord made me a deal I couldn't say no to. Across he probably regrets it to this day, to move me across the street right on 300. It was like 500 more square feet. It was like for an extra $200,
Yeah.
and you're right on 300. You're
Nice.
like, you know,
Yeah.
let me scratch my head about that one. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we've been there, and then, you know, I think we started out around 3,500 or 3,000, and then we're almost double.
That's
know?
awesome.
You know, at the peak we had 4 locations. We were in Newburgh, New Paltz, Beacon, and Montgomery. But we've kind of COVID and, you know, just downside, you know, figuring out. I guess I'll steal a Mark Cuban quote. I was chasing the dream, but not the green. So, you know, I just wanted more and more and more. And then, you know, you start to realize like what's making you money and what's costing you money.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we're down to 2, and it's great.
And you're good with that. Yeah, that's
totally.
So odds are if you see a shirt in the area that's got a name on it,
There's a very good chance. Yeah.
It's like it went through your shop.
Yeah, very good chance it's came through my shop at this point in time. You know, there's still, you know, there's plenty of other people out there that do it too, but you know, there's a huge chance. We generally try to focus on tourism, I guess, tourism and resale. I guess like more of like destination spots in the Hudson Valley. You know, like wineries, breweries. You know, ski resorts in the Catskills.
Gotcha.
You know, things like those are generally the clients I like to go after.
So the businesses that are reselling the merchandise.
Yeah, more so merch. You know, like that's what you'd call it then, like a uniform. Yeah, people that are reselling it, but you know, also doing their company outfits and all that stuff. But yeah, that's generally what I try to primarily focus on. I enjoy it more. Not gonna lie, the volume's better.
Sure.
You know, they know what they want. It's just, you know.
Yeah, so it's okay to make money.
It's as you grow, you have to learn to say no.
Yeah,
you know, but a lot of people get offended by it, and it's tough because you want to please everyone. But you know, 10 years ago, I could make money off of a 24-piece order, but now it's extremely hard, like because you know you have your overhead is so much higher, and if you're not making X amount of dollars per hour, then you're not making money, and people don't see that. It's just like, you know, you might be better off going to the one-person operation. He's going to give you probably a little more time, a little more, you know, but that's just the way it is because his dollar per hour is a lot less versus what I have to make. And, you know, you know, some people get offended. I've gotten some bad Google reviews over things like that because it's like, you know, one particular it's like we used to work on supplied items and then we stopped and someone was just like, I can't do it anymore. I don't make any money. It's like, you know, it's a risk, you know. It's like you don't go to a restaurant and bring a steak and ask them to cook it, do you? You know, so and like, you know, COVID changed that and, you know, just things and you know, but it's just the evolution of growing. You know what I mean? You know, it's funny. I can give anybody advice. It's okay to say no sometimes. You know? So,
you ever have to fire customers?
Yes. Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It can be fun. And then you try to fire them, and they just won't go away.
Just
sometimes.
like go.
No, we've definitely fired a handful because, you know, either we're not in line with each other, or we're not making money off of it. They want to pay a certain price, and it's like, listen, dude, like, you know my quality, you know my worth, you know, if I say it's gonna be done on the 29th, it's gonna be done on the 28th most likely, or sooner. So it's an added value. So, you know, I hate to keep bringing COVID, but you know, during COVID, I really got to like sit and dial in, like, and look at everybody with a fine comb or whatever they say, and see what jobs are profitable. And we're like, well, why are we doing this? Like, I'm not making any money. Like, but we couldn't say no. So we had to, you know, we fired a handful of people. Like, well, we didn't fire them. We gave them like kind of like an option. Well, we basically fired them. You know, it's like, this is, in order for me to make this worth my time, this is what I have to charge you. And if it works for you, awesome. Let's continue this relationship. If not, it's business at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, I don't get mad. You know, just like, you know, a lot of people in my industry were like, oh, you stole my client. You stole, you know, like, or I lost a client to somebody. I didn't, nobody stole a client from me. I either wasn't, you know, something didn't align. Either my pricing wasn't good, my turnaround wasn't good, or my customer service wasn't good enough for them, and they went somewhere else. So I didn't do, you know, somewhere along that line, I didn't do my job. And that's the way I look at it. I don't look at it like, oh, John's print shop took my good client and, you know, what the heck, you know? No, it's like, well, I generally analyze it as, what did I do wrong and how can I fix that so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, that's really good advice, because a lot of times, it's very easy to be like,
point the finger.
Yeah, and they took my customer, they took my client away. It's like, it's a lot harder to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what did I screw up to lose them? Because if you're good at what you do and you're delivering them what they want and what they need, you're gonna keep them more than not.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, that's a big, you know, whenever a client goes somewhere else, you know, that's a self-reflection more than, you know, pointing the blame on, you know, somebody else.
But that's probably why you've been around for so long, because you're able to look inside and say, we might have done something that to lose a customer. What can we do to fix it? It's like a lot of people would just look at that as a way to just blame something else, as instead of a way to improve upon what you're already doing.
Exactly. I own up to anything. Like, if it's a mistake, we're printers. You know what I mean? We make merch. Accidents are going to happen. It's nature of the business. I'm the first person to own up. If I went wrong, no problem. Give me the merch back. You're number one on the list. You know, my quote, you know, our quote is like, it's everyone makes mistakes at the end of the day. It's how you fix the mistake is what really matters. Yeah. You know, like, you do them right. You know, most people are human. They understand. Just fix it right, and you'll have a client forever. You know, you build that loyalty. Like, hey, Chris did mess up, but you know what? He took care of that 1, 2, 3, and you know, so I know now, even if there is an issue, Chris is always gonna do me right. So, you know.
How big is the team?
Team is a lot smaller now, which is strange, but it's weird. You know, we had a ton of employees at one point, and not a ton, but a ton for me. And it's like we're doing more revenue with like a third of the staff. So right now, the merch side there's about, let's see, me, Dylan, Jordan, about 5 or 6.
Solid.
Yeah. You know, we had at one point about 12 or 13, you know, when we had the 4 stores and all this stuff. But it's not, you know, it's, any self-employed person knows the struggle with finding, and you know, people to work, people that want to work, and people that are good at work. So when you do find the right ones, just take extra good care of them. I mean, last year we had our highest grossing sales revenue month ever in history, and it was me and one guy on the production floor the whole month. It was just the 2 of us. Crazy. Like, the 2 other people were out sick, like, for the whole month. It was literally 2 people, and you scratch your head, you know, and you're just like, just me and you, bro. Like, what the heck is going on here? You know, like, don't get me wrong, we worked a lot of 80 plus weeks that month, you know, but I mean, you know, you're just like, what the, you know, so it doesn't, you know, a lot of people are on that, ego trip where it's like, I have a 20,000 square foot place and 52 employees and, you know, 25 trucks. Like, yeah, wow. Like, you know, just an ego trip. Like, that doesn't mean jack, and the profitability means everything. You know?
Yeah, that's like, again, that's the like the illusion of being a business owner or an entrepreneur. It's like that's great but if that's what you're flaunting and not the thing that you do best, you're probably not doing the thing you do best.
No, and you're probably in some kind of financial trouble.
Oh man, I could spot it a mile away.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Those are the ones that you're like, 100% down payment before we start.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's like,
and those are the clients that end up usually either leaving or getting fired or like it just doesn't work out.
Doing it 21 years, you can kind of spot them out a mile away.
Yeah,
so it's just like
So the team is not huge for, I guess, the kind of volume that you do. Like, can you talk about any numbers? Like what is a 5-man team pumping out?
7 digits, I could tell you that.
Yeah, that's freaking sick, dude. For 5 people.
We're 7, and I have a certain dollar I'm trying to get to. I'm so close, and then it's just like, all right.
Yeah,
everything's good. You know, I set myself personal goals, you know, but I've learned to hire sales just at the same time, you know, through the course of owning a business doesn't dictate higher profitability.
True.
You know, it's like, you can have $2 million in sales and 2.1 in expenses versus, you know, $250,000 in sale and you're walking away with $100K. Like,
absolutely.
You know, that goes back to the 25 trucks, 5,000, you know, 10,000 square feet, 50 employees.
Yeah. If you could do it on less, do it on less.
Yeah. Less is more scenario can be at times, you know? So, I'm real happy with the volume we crank out with the staff. I would like to crank out just a little bit more, but I think a lot has to, you know, I've been dial in more technology with the printing aspect, you know, bigger equipment, more automation. That's really where we've invested more because of the staffing issues and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so I do have a solid 5 people. I try to get them the best tools to work, you know, make their lives happy and make the place run as efficient as possible. So I mean, we're still have hiccups. We always will. You know?
Of course. Doesn't matter how big your team is.
Bad habits that you can't, you know, break. But you know, that's what you try to give them the best tools, you know, money can buy, and you know, so it makes their life easier. Their quality of life is better, and you know, versus old stuff like, you know, we bought it's called an auto coder, basically. Coats the screen printing, you know, basically back in the day for the past 20 years, you literally were scraping it, bending down, doing it by hand, you know, and now you just put it in a machine, press a button. You know what I mean? But, you know, wow, you're like, I'm going to spend how much on this machine?
I was going to say, what's a machine like that go for?
It's about $20K for that. But, you know, if you saw what you did, what it does, you're like, $20K for that, you know? But you know, it makes their life so much, you know, it's not hurting back pain. It's
quite faster, more consistent.
The emulsion is consistent, you know, because you're putting a liquid film on it, basically. But, you know, you're getting that same consistent stroke, you know, every time. So it's going to make your print crispier and nicer too. So
that's awesome.
So
I mean, you have to buy tools. Like it's part of business. Like there is a part of doing business. You can save money where you can, but ultimately that's like in the long run.
Yes,
the customer's better, that your employees are better.
Yeah, product's better. I'm a big believer in technology. You know what I mean? Like always upgrading equipment.
Yeah,
you walk into some print shops and you're like, bro, that's older than me, and I'm the old kid around the block here now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what are you doing with that dinosaur, bro?
Yep.
Or like, why did you buy that? Like, I have a couple shops that I'm friends with, and you know, they're younger people, and it's like, dude, like, why don't you just to save $1,500 or $2,000, you bought that POS?
Yeah. Sure.
You know, just spend the money. You know,
Yeah.
if you're already spending 10, what's 15? You know,
Sure.
if it's gonna make
Especially-
your life so much easier.
absolutely.
Like, so many people
Absolutely.
do that. They skimp on it. It's like, oh, just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when you're scrapping things together, I mean, it's different.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
'Cause-
Buy used, I say too. You know, even if you can't afford, buy used. There's a lot of great equipment out there that's used. You can buy it through a used equipment company, and they'll even give you warranties on it. You know, it's just
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So-
I mean, like in our business, we have, you know, cameras constantly going in and out of style. And, like the technology gets better. Like
your
literally
technology's got to be
every year. And you just, you know, sometimes you make the jump, other times you wait. And then, you know, we're in the process of like upgrading camera by camera, and it's, you know, thousands of dollars each time. And that's just part of doing business.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
can
Like,
imagine.
it's just the way it goes.
Your technology's got to be like
Changes all the time.
lightning. You blink your eyes.
Changes
like, oh,
all the
geez,
time.
that
But
came
that's
out.
okay. That's part of doing
business,
business.
yeah.
It's just part of doing business.
Exactly.
Do you find it more difficult to break that 7-figure mark or get past it? Because I've always heard that first million is the hardest.
The first million is the hardest. But when you get it, it's like, dude, it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought in a million, you know, when I first started this thing, I never thought I'd do like $1 million in rev. And you're just like, oh my God, I did it. We did it much faster than I thought. Like, we had a series of years, like maybe 3 years in a row where we doubled our sales. Like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. But then it gets harder. You know, it's easy to go to 75 to 150, and then 150 to 300, then 300 to 600, then 600 to 1.2. Then you're like, you can't just go from 1.2 to 2.4. Like, you have to invest in more infrastructure.
Yeah,
It's just, you know, so then, you know, I try to look for double digit growth. You know, if I get 10% now or higher, I'm happy. You know what
That's
I mean?
great. Yeah.
So
No,
that's kind of ideal. We've only had in 21 years, we had 2 negative months. Knock on wood. Sorry, I gotta do it. Superstitious.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's fine.
Yeah, you know, 1 year we lost 1 customer that accounted for 30% of our revenue. You know, you ever hear the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but it just happens. What are you going to do? Someone comes to you, hey, I want to spend $300K with you a year. You're going to say, nah, that's too much. I'm going to have all my eggs in one basket. You're not going to tell them no. You know what I mean?
That's the one you don't say no to.
Yeah,
Right?
but you know, everyone's like, don't put all your eggs in. It just happens organically. Well, like, what are you going to do? So,
Yeah. And your resources go into that, and your team is spending hours and hours on that. And then,
that
absolutely.
was, you know, we had one company that accounted for a third, but they helped us along. They gave us rapid growth, you know, which helped us. It was great. Always paid their bills on time, but you know, they just decided to try it in-house. And I went in there, you know, they didn't even tell me. I found out because some idiot over at the company put me down as a trade reference. So I'm like, what are they buying ink supplies for? You know? So I went in there, and the guy was like, yeah, you know, the CEO at the time was like, yeah, we're trying to put you out of business, just jokingly, you know? And I was like, I'll be back here in about a year, 2 years max, buying your equipment, pennies on the dollar. And guess what? 1 year later to the date, I went in there and bought all his equipment.
You actually bought it all?
Pennies on the dollar. Yeah, I flipped it. I don't want to tell you. Dude, I bought it for about, they had to get it out. I'm not going to disclose who person it is.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, they had to get it out of their building. I bought it for $2,500, flipped it for about $25K. Cleaned it all up.
All right, hold on.
And got the client back.
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to be like, let's add insult to injury.
Yeah, and got the client back. Yeah, the CEO wasn't there anymore.
Gotcha. All right, so there was a change of
He
hands
left too. Yeah, it was a bad eye. Because I was just shaking their head. I'm like, yeah, you guys don't. Like, everybody just thinks it's a T-shirt. I'm like, there's so much pre-press and stuff that gets involved in it. So we lost that, but it only took us a year. Only took us 1 year to get back up to,
Yeah.
where we needed. And then every COVID year, everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we lost about 40% of our revenue. But the crazy thing is after streamlining it, we were almost just as profitable as the year before that when our revenue was 40% more.
How long did that take to get back to that?
1 year.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Everything's been like a year, you know what I mean? You see a big dip, but you pivot and figure it out.
Just going back to that 300K client. So you said you gained it back in a year. Obviously, you gained that client back, but I'm curious, did you have to make any changes at that moment where you were like, shit, this revenue's gone. What do I do?
Yeah, get your ass out and start selling, man. The one good thing is not very good, but you have a lot more time now. You have free press time, so
sure.
Boots on the ground. You know what I mean?
Really?
It was just boots on the ground.
How were you selling? What were you?
We're very old school.
Were you cold calling?
No, I just literally going. I'll open your door. I'll knock on your door.
No shit.
Yeah.
You guys still do that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I find a certain client that I want. I curate promos for them. I'm going to give a secret out, but hopefully no other screen printers listen to this. But I curate, you know what I mean? Like, I don't go in there and like, oh, look at this shirt. This is cool. That's cool. I'll drop like $400 or $500 on a client that I don't even have between the time and the effort to make them samples.
You're just making them on spec.
I'm making them on spec, like finding cool stuff, cool product, maybe even paying a designer to design some logos for them, or something, a vision. I don't do much of the design, the actual physical. I do have concepts in my head that I'll relay to one of my, freelance guys that we use, and curate a whole little kit for them, and then I just walk in, try to find who the person, who the gatekeeper. There's always a gatekeeper. Sometimes the secretary is more important than the CEO because the secretary is doing all the ordering. I could care less about the CEO, and find out who they are, and go after them. I'm still old school, man.
Man.
There was a quote. I listened to one of your podcasts, and it's kind of how I do everything. I think you said your father said it. Watch the masses and do the opposite. Everybody's on, no disrespect, everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's on Instagram. It's so saturated right now to me. Like, I'm a screen printer, and I go on Instagram. All I'm realizing is it's just tons of screen printing shops. And the content's not even good.
Yeah.
It's just screen printing. Like, the only people that are going to geek out on it are other screen printers. Yeah. And that's not the people you're trying to get on the social media. So why are you even spending the money? Like, the content is so wrong. So I just feel like it's saturated market. So I really try to go the old school route. I want to, boots on the ground, meet you, let's talk. Whatever, very personal, man. I'm very communicative.
That's awesome.
Emails, I'm not super social media. I mean, I have an Instagram. I think there is a use for it. Don't get me wrong. It's a great portfolio piece. People find out your company. What are they going to do? They're going to go on your social.
Of course, they're going to look for you. You have to be
100%.
there. Yeah.
So you got to have, data out there, like just images of some work you've done with or type of clients you've done with. And I think you should have a human element there too. Show them you're human too. Like, nobody just wants to see like t-shirt after t-shirt after t-shirt, Like, I think there's like a video of me on Thanksgiving and I'm riding an ATV in the yard and my son's throwing the football as I'm driving it and that's like probably one of the highest liked on my handle.
Because it's a person.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. It's just a personal,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We say that to every client that we work with because we're so in social media every single day. I mean, he's probably scheduling about 50 TikToks right now. And one of the things we always say is people aren't going to follow a company. They're going to follow a person. Yeah. So put that face to that company. But yeah, you're right. Just seeing shirt after shirt after shirt after shirt. It's like you can only see so many t-shirts. Nobody's interested.
100%.
Show something human. But dude, you're just walking in, spending money on making the client something for them and being like, hey, made this for you. It's probably, it has to pay for itself. Like without a question.
Return ratio is great. We had like my assistant yesterday, we do like a clothing boutique up in Woodstock. It's like a merch store, people come. But we had 4 curated bags for 4 other businesses that we wanted to go out. So she went out, she dropped the shirts off to our client, and then she's going, hey, look, I got this nice, put it in a nice bag. It's funny, I have like this bamboo bag that I use, and no, not bamboo, jute. I get more inquiries about, hey, can you make me these bags too? That's awesome. I must have got like a dozen orders just from giving them the bag for the bag itself. Wow. So yeah, we put in our own branded bag, and then we put all that merch, whether it be a sweatshirt, t-shirt, couple pieces, a tchotchke is what I call it. You know what I mean? If they're breweries, throw a pint glass in there with their logo on it, or a growler.
But you're very selective, right? About who you do that for. You're not going to just go do that for the new cafe down the street or something. Like, you're going to be really selective about.
I am selective. Like I said, I've been doing it for 21 years. I know what makes money, and I know what doesn't. I know what I need to make. So I select certain caliber clients. Don't get me wrong, big or small, we'll still do it. Yeah. But with when we go,
but if you're doing that kind of thing,
yeah, exactly. There's got to be a better ROI, and like, okay, yeah, this person can spend easy 6 digits with you a year. You know, so it's like, yeah, they're worth spending $500 on some time. Just
that's really good, man.
And sometimes we've worked on clients for like 2+ years to get them. Just kind of boom, boom, boom. They take time, but they're worth it. You know what I mean? You can't just, you're not going to just go in there and be like, oh, yeah, I do need shirts. I was just going to order them tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, well, your odds of that happening are not slim. I'm trying to build a relationship. They're not customers to me. They're clients. Like, I want these people. I want to work with them for a long time. I want to enjoy. I want to be like, hey, how are your kids doing? I want to build a relationship with them. I'm in a relationship business at the end of the day. That sells merch.
Yep.
I think a lot of people are in that type of business, but don't realize that most of what people work in is a relationship business, and what you're selling is the after product.
Yeah, so, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, we take that kind of approach too with what we do. I mean, you're a media company who sells the thing that you sell. Like, our goal is to get you to become a media company, and that also happens to sell wine or whatever it is. That's really good, man. You packed a lot into this. This is solid.
Have I?
I think so. Dude, I love this. This is like amazing. So just like real quick, where can if somebody is looking for shirts right now?
The best bet is actually to email or DM, believe it or not.
On Insta?
Yeah, on Insta, and I'll reroute you to my email. I'm like, I hate to say it, like a crack addict with it's bad,
The email?
Yeah, I know how you said like you shut it off. I can't for some reason. It's like, dude, if you email me at 11 o'clock at night and I'm up, I'm probably emailing you back within 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. This is America, bro. It's an instant gratification world. Like, that's how we live. We want it now. That's another thing. It's like speed. In my business, it's all about a hustle. If you inquiry, you're going to get as long as I have the necessary data, you'll get a quote within an hour. We're just super fast. Like, as long as you give me the info, and if you don't give me the info, I'm already replying back within, I generally like to do 30 minutes or less. I'm requiring I need this, and this in order to price you out there. I've secretly emailed competition, fictitiously. We all have. I don't care. I'll say. Absolutely. If you haven't, you're lying. Or
you should. You should.
Or you're not a smart businessman. And dude, some of these people take 30 days later. 30 days later, I get a quote. Get back? Just to get a quote. I'm like, how the heck are you? I'm like 30 minutes, bro. How do you stay in business? Like, that's my big thing. I'm super, super proactive with email because, like I said, it's America. Everybody wants everything, and they want it now. So if I got you hot in the trot for 500 units, let's lock and load. Let's get this done. You know what I mean? Let's turn and burn. The press is spin. I always say, if it's spinning, we're winning. So, God, I don't even know how to contact me. So I don't even know. I just totally went off.
You said Insta. You said the DM is like
DM
one of the best ways.
Email, like mixtureprints.com is the website, or mixture.inc, INC, on Instagram. It's the best way to if you want something now. You can call too, but I'll tell you right now, calling is probably the worst because I know it sounds crazy, but we're always on the production floor. Like we're
Sure.
running, you know. If I get the voicemail, I have it now set up where my voicemail goes to my email. So I just hit the button in my email and it plays, and then I can call right back. So that's helping me with my phone calls, because I might spend half the day out on the production floor, like, you know, boxing or bagging, you know, whatever, poly bagging, size labels, whatever. So, you know, it's hard to get me right then and there. So I always say like email or Instagram is the best way to do it.
Cool, man. That's great. So definitely do that, because that's like, there's a reason. Look, there's a reason why you're as successful as you are. You gave me little secrets here and there, but it's
can we edit those out?
It's been steady growth, dude. Nobody's gonna do it. I'm sorry. Like that's the thing. I'm all about give away free advice. Yeah, because they're not gonna do it. No, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna go spend $500-600 to create a pack for a potential client that they have no opportunity or no idea that they're actually going to land.
And some of them are, you know, like I'm not going to lie, there's ones or twos that have been sitting on the shelf for a year, and you're just like, you're still trying to figure out. Because you don't want to give it to the wrong person.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, competition's not going to do it. You could give them the exact blueprint on how to scale a printing business to $1 million in 3 steps, and they will stop after step 1. Just the way we are. It's just the way we are. We want the information, but we don't want to do anything with it.
Exactly. Either you got the hustle in you. It's a bloodstream thing. It's like either you have it, and if you do have it, I don't care if you're selling shirts, doing videography, a plumber, you're gonna kill it, you know, or you don't have it, and you're just someone's gonna steal your milk at the end of the day as soon as you get it. So
I love it. Like half of this episode is quotable. I'm just like, seriously, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
man.
no doubt,
I appreciate
man.
it.
I appreciate it, man. I was stoked, man. You know, when we were talking, I was like, I was like, somebody needs to do this. And then,
that's right. Yeah, you were saying like somebody's got to start.
I literally was having a conversation with one of my employees, like someone needs to do. Like it would be really cool if they did a podcast on businesses in this area, and then. Who pops up in my big brother listening to my phone? I'm like, who pops up in my Instagram feed? You. And I'm like, dude, if this isn't a sign, I don't know what it is.
And you're in the business of signs. Come on. Thanks, man.
Cool. No, I appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.
Thanks so much.
Cool.